Greetings. You're watching breaking news on the Creative Society channel. According to the USGS, on January 21st, 2022, there was a 6.3 magnitude earthquake near the southern islands of Japan. The fluctuations were felt in 4 Japanese prefectures. Casualties have been reported. Within an hour after the main shock, 6 aftershocks of magnitude greater than 4 occurred.
A total of 19 earthquakes, magnitude greater than 6 in different parts of the planet occurred in the period from 1st to 28th of January. This has not been seen in at least the last 10 years. Watch in this episode.
Extremely large CO2 emissions occur at the volcano Etna, 9,000 tons per day, which is 10% of current global volcanic CO2 emissions. This is 3 times more than what Kilauea volcano in Hawaii emits, which erupts 4 times more magma than Etna.
This is a result of a study conducted by an international team of geologists from Europe. Scientists have found that the composition of Etna magma indicates the presence of lithospheric mantle domains beneath the southern Italy that are extremely enriched in carbon. This carbon penetrates into the magma during its melting.
Study lead author Dr. Alessandra Bragani noted that similar carbon-rich domains may be hidden under other volcanoes around the world, contributing to CO2 emissions. In his opinion, volcanic CO2 emissions can play a key role in changing the climate of our planet, both in the past and in the present. Watch next about the abnormal snowfall in Syria and the storm in Pakistan.
On January 18th to 19th, 2022, abnormally cold weather and heavy snowfall came to the northern and northwestern regions of Syria. Unfortunately, this weather resulted in loss of people's lives. Refugees in tent camps in Idlib and Aleppo provinces suffered the most. Most of the tents could not withstand the harsh weather and the weight of the fallen snow. Tens of thousands of people were on the brink of life and death. The snowfall resulted in many local roads being blocked, making it even more difficult to help the victims. On January 21st, the city of Karachi, Pakistan, was hit by strong winds, reaching speeds of 55 kilometers per hour. Walls and roofs collapsed as a result. Unfortunately, casualties have been reported. There are also people injured. The wind uprooted trees, tore down power poles, and damaged vehicles.
It is the most socially vulnerable people who suffer first and foremost from natural disasters. Unfortunately, there are more and more of them because of global climate change. Syrian television reporter Munir al-Hajjah sent in a report about the plight of refugees in tent camps in Syria.
Residents of Aliha camp in Zuf village after the snowstorm. Date 23rd of January 2022. This is the situation of the displaced. What happened to you?
It started snowing at 4 o'clock in the morning. This is where grandmother and I are. The area split in two, and until 6 in the morning we were agonizing.
What do you need?
We need heating, food, and help from God.
This camp is one of the spontaneous settlements that include several camps. Most of them consist of ship-type tents, which are notoriously unable to withstand rain and snowstorms. People here suffer greatly from snowstorms. How do you feel in the cold?
It's not cold, it's a plague.
Did you get the heating equipment or not? What condition is it in?
Not great. There is a woman who's dying and we want to save her.
There is no ambulance here.
No, we really need an ambulance. There were many cars here, but no one took her. She's lying on the ground. Go look. Save her.
We found one of the critically ill cases here that needs immediate medical attention. We could barely make it to this camp. May Allah give you health. How do you feel in this cold?
By God, we are dying here. Our tents have fallen on us and we are freezing in the snow.
Is this your tent?
Yes, this is our tent.
It's patched with blankets.
Yes, but they are very worn out.
Like I said, in all the camps, the damage is similar in terms of excess roads and severe frost with no means of heating. People's preparedness for this blizzard was insufficient due to the lack of purchasing power and harsh living conditions in all regions throughout northern Syria. I'm Munir Al-Hajja from Syria TV, the western countryside of Idlib.
Unfortunately, no one in the consumerist format of society is prepared for sudden natural disasters, and any delay in bringing all people together to deal with a common enemy, global climate change, results in casualties. An eyewitness to a snowstorm that struck a mountainous region in Pakistan will recount the tragedy that occurred in early January 2022.
My name is Amir and I am from Pakistan. I have recently suffered from snowstorm in Murray area nearby the Islamabad, capital of Pakistan. Last week we visited to hill areas of Murray city nearby the Islamabad, capital of Pakistan. When we reached to the expressway of Murray, the rain starts, and after 5 to 10 minutes the snowfall has been also started. So we turned our car to expressway and left there, and we start hiking on the mountain to reach our place. And meantime that snow was very high level, and at that time we noticed the main thing is that we cannot take precautionary things with us. We have the cap, we have the gloves, we have the items someone, but the mains are missing, that the chains for our shoes are missing proper, that will hike easily in the snow. Approximately 1 lakh cars, vehicles and families have visited their place. They will stuck off in the roads. The roads were completely blocked. They cannot move forward or now can up, down, forward. At that night they are staying at their cars. They cannot move to any hotels nearby, not any places, or tell to the local people that they need the shelters, they need the rooms for their night. On the early morning, we noticed very incredible that and very sad to say that 20 plus people have been died due to snowstorm. They also stayed in their car without having oxygen proper way. They closed their windows, opened their heaters, and after a snowstorm they have covered up and died. You know that the gas leakage of the vehicle silencer, that gas coming from the heater side, they were unconscious, and after this they will be died. You know that the snow have been falling very speedily, so I'm little bit scared, but I have the options. We have the gloves, caps, the things which we can survive in snow, can protect me from the cold. Some people only have the clothes on his bodies, have a jacket, and sit down in the car, nothing have a socks, nothing have a caps, nothing everything to secure them. Snowstorm is first time happened in Pakistan because earlier only have a snowfall in Pakistan. Nobody knows that the people are alive or dead in this car. Even the cars, here is the example that a car standing on the road and stuck in the traffic. The other traffic people didn't know about this. That the person having next to car with me is alive or dead. Because the snowstorm hits everyone and they were in conscious conditions, not in well good condition. They will be happening to everyone. The disaster have no country, no family that they cannot hit individual or anyone. They can hit everyone in this regard. Every country, every family may be hit with the disaster that you cannot stop this because the climate change is nowadays a very, a very big problem or called situation in the world, and we can know to how to survive it, how can live it.
Heavy snowfalls also occurred in Georgia on January 26, 2022. Many roads were blocked and there were power outages. In the mountain village of Bakmaro, snowdrifts reached a height of 4 meters, blocking the entrances and windows of residential buildings.
Earlier, heavy snowfalls in Turkey were brought by Cyclone Hope, winter storm Elpis. Passengers from all over the world became hostages of the forces of nature in the Istanbul airport. Most people were forced to sleep on the floor. There were big problems with drinking water and food supply. The topic of heavy snowfalls and storms will be continued by the breaking news reporter and eyewitnesses of the events.
Greetings. This is breaking news reporter from Turkey. On January 24th, 25th, 2022, the heaviest snowfall took place on a significant territory of Turkey, which has not been seen in the country for the 30 years. Istanbul and its surroundings have become a real disaster zone. The height of the snow cover in places reached half a meter. The temperature dropped to -2 degrees, which is 4 to 6 degrees below the climatic norm. Thousands of cars are stuck in traffic jams on icy roads. People had to build bonfires to keep warm. Buses with tourists were trapped in the snow. Rescuers were able to reach them only after 12 hours. Numerous accidents have resulted in human casualties. To normalize the situation in the capital, a ban on the movement on private cars was introduced and public transport stopped working. Residents were advised not to leave their homes. Due to bad weather, the Istanbul airport suspended flights. People had to wait days for their flights to depart. Also, due to poor visibility, the passage of ships through the Bosphorus Strait was closed. In the 20th of January, heavy snowfall fell in the south of Russia. The most difficult situation has developed in the Krasnodarsk region, where an abnormal amount of snow has fallen. Huge snowdrifts made it difficult to move by car. Trees fell under the weight of snow, which damaged parked cars. In Krasnodar was set a record of snow cover for the entire history of meteorological observations. This is 41 centimeters. In some settlements of the Tuapse district, the height of the snowdrifts was a human height. Hello, my name is Leila, and I live in Istanbul. I would like to share with you my experiences during the snowstorm we had 2 days ago. Frankly speaking, we thought we woke up to a normal, snowy Monday morning, but after 3 hours, the weather turned into a disaster. All the roads were blocked at once. There was such a severe and heavy snowstorm that even the snowplow were not enough. All roads leading to the airport were blocked. All flights to the airport were cancelled. All the airplanes with passengers had to wait on the airplane for hours because the airport was not cleaned quickly. Honestly, people, myself included, panicked because we didn't know at all how long it would take. If it affected our lives that much, even a few hours, we didn't know what would happen to us if it lasted 3 days. We also witnessed that adequate precautions had not been taken, despite the weather warnings. More people could have acted more cautiously. At the very least, they could have imposed a curfew so that, as we see from the news, many people had to leave their cars by the side of the road and walk for hours to their homes in the bitter cold. There have been many accidents. We haven't lost many lives, but we have seen once again how much climate change affects our daily lives. And I really think that we should be a little more attentive to this issue.
This is the Krasnodar region, January the 24th. It's already snowing abnormally. I can show you these drifts. Already abnormal for our region. And literally, before that, it rained and the rivers were rising heavily. There was an emergency situation. Look at these snowdrifts. For those who say that there is no climatic change, this is not typical of our region. And it was accompanied by literally a day of rain. And then the snow was piling up, and it still is snowing. Look, what drifts. Here is a small path. There is no light, we have no light. Almost all of them have gas boilers, which are connected with electricity. There is no connection. I don't know, they turned everything off at night. We are good, we have the stove, and people just changed everything to boilers. So, what's like that? The altitude.
Здравствуйте.
My name is Victor. I'm a member of the Creative Society project. We live in the Lazarevsky district of the city of Sochi. Recently, the storm destroyed the embankment near the railway station Volkonskaya. We have been living here for 10 years, and I haven't seen anything like that. And also, before, there was no such heavy destruction. I asked people about that. It was preceded by very heavy rains, prolonged heavy rains with snow. And every year the coastal strip, the beach strip, is very noticeably reduced.
On the night of January 26, winter storm Elpis, cyclone Hope, hit Israel after Greece and Turkey. About 20 centimeters of snow fell in one night alone, and the snow cover on Mount Hermon reached 1 meter. Because of the stormy weather, Israel's main highway was temporarily closed and classes were cancelled in all educational institutions. Snow and cold gusty winds are unusual and abnormal for this region. Watch next about the aftermath of Cyclone Elpis in Greece.
Hello, this is a breaking news reporter from Greece. On January the 24th, 2022, Cyclone Elpis brought unaccustomed heavy snowfall, sub-zero temperatures and gale force winds to Greece. Large amounts of snowfall paralyzed the country. About a dozen districts and suburbs of Athens were left without electricity and internet due to broken wires on which tree trunks and branches had fallen. On the Attica-Odos expressway, hundreds of cars were trapped by snow. Firefighters and the army were brought in to help drivers and passengers. After many hours of waiting, drivers had to leave their cars on the road and late at night walk with their families and children in their arms through the snowy city, because no help had arrived. It is noteworthy that exactly 1 year ago there was a similar situation with power outages and broken power lines in snow-covered residential areas. But unfortunately, this experience has not taught our consumerist society anything. Earlier, on January the 18th, snow fell in the northern regions of the Sahara Desert, Africa. Temperatures dropped to -2 degrees Celsius, while the average temperature in January is +8 degrees. Snow covered the sand dunes around the Algerian town of Ain Sefra. Such a weather phenomenon is very rare for this area. In the last 24 years, snow has fallen here only a few times. In mid-January, torrential rains hit South Africa's province of KwaZulu-Natal. This caused local rivers to overflow and widespread flooding. Unfortunately, casualty has been reported. More than 100 residents were evacuated. Many buildings, roads and bridges were damaged.
On January 24th, heavy rains caused flash flooding and landslides in Kisoro County, Uganda. Sadly, there were casualties and missing persons. Mud, rocks, and huge boulders fell from the slopes of Mount Buhabura, destroying infrastructure, homes, and roads. Search and rescue operations were underway. Earlier, on December 4th, 2021, there was an international online conference, Global Crisis, A Time for the Truth, where participants informed us about the global climate crisis that is growing by the day. Unfortunately, on the same day, there was a flood in Kenya that caused casualties. An eyewitness to this tragedy will tell us about the importance of reporting climate change.
My name is Meshak Ndunda Mutua. I'm from Kenya, Cumberland. I witnessed the floods carrying away people, carrying away vehicles. This event happened in Kitui County, Mwingi, in place known as Enziu River. I was traveling with several people in the vehicle. Then all of a sudden, about 100 meters to the river, I saw very, very many waters coming from the other side, going downwards. Then we had to stop. Some people had to rush to the other side. But I told them, stop rushing. Do you care about your lives? Once you get inside, they may draw you away. The waters were coming from far, from other corners. The place was very dry. So people could not expect such situation. So the waters came. They carried away some trees, big stones in these areas. We don't have the bridge. You cannot access the other corner until you wait the water moves. There is no any alternative. It is like just a road straight to the other side. The place is very dry. So the community, sometimes they go and dig deep, looking for waters for consumption. So that is one thing I want you to understand. And that river, because of lack of water, people dig underground, looking for water. Then in such a situation, when the rains come, remember, we have a hole, if I can call it, a deep one. So when the waters are running, you cannot understand whether we have a hole inside or not. This is what happened to that bus. There was an hole in the corner side of the bridge. The bus went went underground. Because of that, people really suffer. They really suffer. In fact, even myself, I suffered, but I don't want to suffer anymore. It's very important for the people to understand about the climate change through education. When you have information, you know how to deal with it. But if you don't have the information, you will not understand how to deal with such things. Remember, with are you alone? Like now, I'm acting alone. Some other people are acting on the other side. So if we come together, we will build something huge. So to all the nations, to all my fans, I welcome you. I welcome you to this conference. And I know when we come together, we will do great wonders.
If you have witnessed climate anomalies, send your videos to climate@creativesociety.com.
On January 22, 2022, Tropical Storm Anna struck the island of Madagascar. The floods and landslides it caused resulted in dozens of casualties. About 65,000 people were left homeless. The evacuation in low-lying areas began the day before. The wind speed reached 85 kilometers per hour. In the capital of Madagascar, Antananarivo, a red alert level was declared. About 7,000 homes were flooded. Classes have been suspended in the affected areas due to the threat of flooding. The storm also hit mainland Africa, with power outages in Malawi and deaths in Mozambique. Next, a breaking news reporter will talk about what happened in another part of the southern hemisphere.
Hello, this is a breaking news reporter from Peru. On January 21, 2022, heavy rains in Cusco, Peru, caused the Alcamaya River to burst its banks, resulting in a mudslide near the city of Aguascalientes. A powerful flow of mud, rocks and debris rushed through the streets, sweeping away everything in its path. As a result of the disaster, one person died, one person is missing, and several are injured. Ground floor of houses, hotels and restaurants were flooded, bridges were destroyed, railroad tracks were damaged, and the power supply was disrupted. About 900 tourists and some locals were evacuated. The flood also affected the town of Marangani. The National Service of Meteorology and Hydrology of Peru declared a red alert due to the high water level in the Urubamba River.
Anyone can become a breaking news reporter. Record video reports about climate anomalies in your country and send them to us at climate@creativesociety.com. That's how Alex Landas, who is already a regular reporter for our newscasts, sends us his reports. This time we will learn about the consequences of the underwater volcano eruption in Tonga.
Hello, this is Alex Londos. I'm currently located in the northern portion of the Monterey Bay in Central California. Earlier this morning around 8:30 a.m. a tsunami approached this region. As you can see, it went over some of these sand dunes and impacted this wall or the front side of the Santa Cruz Beach boardwalk. It impacted even more further down on Cowles Beach, as well as the harbor located right here in Santa Cruz, California.
In all, cyclones and storms, abnormal snowfalls, floods, and mudslides, and other natural disasters occurred on the planet between January 21st and 27th.
It is worth noting that the simultaneous occurrence of abnormal precipitation in different parts of the planet indicates their synchronization. The reason for all this is astronomical cyclicality.
In order to solve the climate issue, we need to bring all human potential together because there is a global threat hanging over us.
Galactic rays are causing irreparable changes to the core of our planet, so we need to figure out how to counteract this radiation as soon as possible, while we can still make a difference.
A simple question: what to do? After all, there are technologies that are built based on, let's say, well, let's call it fuel-free generators, which produce a lot of energy out of nothing. It doesn't mean that out of nothing there is a lot of energy in the universe. And these weak interactions, as they call them, between particles are actually tremendous, really colossal energy. It can be used infinitely without harming the environment, the universe, and everything else. It's like a transition from one state to another, and then it returns to its place. So basically, we do not violate anything, whereas when we extract hydrocarbons and use them, we do violate. Even when we use solar energy, what do we do for that? My friends, in order to use solar energy, we create these batteries first, and everything else it's a serious chemical process. They serve for a short time inefficiently and only when the sun is shining. We cannot accumulate much of this energy. Well, this is not so good. Wind farms. Wind farms create a lot of problems. They change and interfere with the wind currents, if there are enough of them. When they install whole fields of them, plus they produce noise. And they emit radiation too. Well, they are also harmful and very expensive at that. They do not really pay off. These are not the sources we need. If we take all of these together, along with the nuclear potential and everything else in the world, we will not be able to accumulate that much energy, even from all of that, to use it even once. Well, here, the counteraction must be very serious, and not one time. But actually, depending on the power of impact, it is necessary to provide a counteraction of equal force. Then we will live as we want, but we have to manage this process.
Obviously, the consolidation of all mankind is necessary. But what is the focus of people's attention in the consumer format of society, and where does it lead us all?
We see that cyclicity is the main reason for climate change. It happens every 12,000 years. The cycles vary in the intensity of destruction. Every other is always more destructive. So every 24,000 years, we experience the most dramatic catastrophes and change. And the cycles in between, which will be the 12,000 year, is less destructive compared to the 24,000 year one, which is the one we're entering right now. You have just seen the facts. Why is it that the truth is not available to us? Why do we still see misleading information about CO2? It is absolutely absurd that we see people dying all the time because we support the stupidity of CO2. This big business is costing us lives.
While they are feeding lies and upon the enemies, they are the enemy. Climate is ruthlessly attacking our planet. The active enemy offensive has been going on for a long time. And in the meantime, they keep lying and trying to brainwash us. Who is doing this? The ones we truthfully call by their real name, the collaborationists. They are the ones who are at war against humanity.
To the detriment of their country, their own families, and all of us. For the sake of their own profit, their wallets, cupcakes, they side with the enemy and continue telling us fairy tales. They divide and pit us against each other. And because of them, we're losing this war. We're not resisting. We're giving up our own homes, our own lives. This is a challenge to all of humanity. And the collaborationists tell us that we can sleep peacefully. What peace are they talking about when a war is going on? Do we want the climate to destroy us?
Нам всем необходимо сегодня консолидировать все наши усилия.
All of us need to consolidate all our efforts today and not to allow these traitorous collaborationists to shut our mouths, not to agree with the lies imposed on us, but instead to be courageous and tell the truth, anywhere and everywhere, to all people, today, Our strength is in the truth. The truth unites our hearts. The truth makes us stronger. The truth makes us united. The truth makes us people who are worthy of the creative society, the society that all the prophets dreamed of.
You can learn more about the Creative Society project at the creativesociety.com website.
Thank you for being with us today, and see you soon on the Creative Community channel.